bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Welcome back. This week is Bully Free Week at the Walter Parker Primary School. A special assembly was held this morning to encourage students to reject this type of behavior, whether verbal, physical, or psychological. Italia Hall was there.
Shut up and keep money. Every day I come to school, you two always call me names like stupid, dumb, and retarded. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it.
Students drove home the all-important message through special skits and songs that bullying is wrong and should not be allowed. Principal of the institution, Jacqueline Pinder, says they want to be proactive and teach the students that they should be a part of the solution and not the problem.
We have called this week Bully Free Week, and we started it 3 years ago because we saw the necessity to engage our students in positive behavior, positive attitudes, positive strategies.
Guest speaker of the event was Elder Laquez Williams, who shared this important message with the kids.
One thing we used to say when we were younger, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words would never hurt me. That is further from the truth as possible. So I'm going to show them the value of words and what they speak, and I have to be careful because many people have died as a result of the words that came out of their mouth. So I want to show them the power of using the right words. Even though you could hurt somebody with a stone or hurt somebody with a stick, the power of a word is even more powerful.
Head girl Tasani Edgecombe says the observance is significant for any student who may be affected by bullying. She believes it gives hope that someone cares.
I think it's so important because children are lacking education because of bullying, because it causes them to lose focus and it ruins our community like that.
Italia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Good job, Tasani. He has earned his place in history as a legend in the Bahamian music industry with a concentration on what he called bush music. Some felt he may have been misunderstood, and now there is a move afoot to republish his work. A family member says they hope this effort will help to educate Bahamians about its positive message. Kimberly Mullings explains.
Over the past couple of years, I've really been, processing my dad really deep because I've been really grateful for who he was and what he was to me.
Danica Penn Carruthers is the oldest daughter of the late Frank and Ann Penn. She now lives in Texas, having relocated 11 years ago with her own family. She grew up in the music industry, spending a lot of time in the recording studio with her father. But back then, she didn't have a full appreciation for his work.
My father did a lot. He did a lot in his industry. He did a lot for this country, but he was a provoker, much like me. He provoked change. He provoked people to go a little bit different, and he did that through his music. And a lot of people didn't understand it. But even with what's going on in the world today, a lot of what he did and he sung and he spoke to is very relevant even now.
Danica recently made a trip back home and decided that now is the time to pay homage and respect to her father's music. She says it is important to get his music out to this generation because his music had timely messages, and the legendary musician helped to pave the way for other Bahamian musicians and entertainers.
People need to be able to understand what Frank Penn was about, even the older people, because they say hindsight is 20/20, and a lot of times we don't appreciate what we have when we have it. But when a person dies, they say, oh man, he was such a great man and he did such a great work, and he was a great man. I actually was one of those people who didn't appreciate him when I was younger. I appreciate him more in my older years. But I want to give people the opportunity to appreciate who Frank Penn was, not so much from the physical perspective, but who he was at the heart.
She notes that it would be remiss of her if she didn't republish her little sister's talents, because the lyrics of singer and songwriter, the late Kristen Penn Davis, were powerful.
We would always sing together and harmonize together, but she too had a message. And her message also came through her music, and Daddy definitely paved the way for that. She was amazing, and when you talk about purpose and destiny, she was only here for 29 years. And there was nothing that anybody could have done about that. I firmly believe that. We have a time to live and we have a time to die. But she affected a lot, even in her time. And I want her message to go back out there, too.
While visiting the old recording studio, Danica stumbled across a box of albums. Contained in that box, some of their best work.
I want to really kind of do like the Penn Project, first and foremost, where I'm releasing Daddy's stuff, like his greatest hits kind of sort of like the greatest hits of Frank Penn and the greatest hits of Kristen Penn. And I'm thinking about right now doing it as a double CD or double digital. I don't even know how you talk about music anymore, right? But you're going to be able to access their stuff.
The beloved daughter and sister hopes that this project would be complete by summer 2017. Kimberly Mullings, ZNS Network News.
In the Bahamas, Kumbe mama beat the drum again. Kumbe papa having fun. This time of year when the heat is warm, it's Kumbe festival in the Bahamas. Jumping dance all over the street. Jumping dance all over the street.
Thank you, Kim. Finally, in news, a local farmer is speaking out on how the production of certain foods can have a negative impact on the human body, and he's highlighting the need for backyard farming. Sabrina Brown has details.
Genetically modified foods, also referred to as genetically engineered foods, are foods produced from organisms that have had changes introduced into their DNA through the method of genetic engineering using genes from other plants or animals. While some claim that genetically modified foods are safe and reduce world hunger, other sources say they have actually been proven to be unhealthy. Founder of Grand Bahama Backyard Farmers, Luckner Timothy, also believes this type of food production is not safe.
Some of the big companies in the world are basically taking on the whole monopoly of food, and they're saying, okay, you know what, to make it grow easier, this is what we're going to do with it. And they don't ask us to do it, they just go ahead and do it themselves. And so because they're doing that, especially when they're using pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, those are stuff that are basically endangering a lot of our people. And that's why cancer is spiking up right now. You have people with diabetes. It's all directly related to the food that we're consuming.
Timothy used corn as an example of how some of the common foods we eat are modified.
You can basically grow corn, but they realize that corn tend to have certain defects and they're suffering from certain issues. So they would basically come in, put a specific gene, so they'll give them some kind of agent, and then basically bees are suffering from it, insects are suffering it's basically there to kill them. But then people are saying, okay, you know what, if bees are suffering from it, what about us? Are we taking it? Their excuse is that we're taking it in small doses, but after a while of eating this for so long, what is the effect great on? Because they haven't tested it as much as they should.
The local farmer is encouraging Bahamians to grow as much of their food as possible.
I realized one of the biggest issues that we had in the Bahamas in general was that we thought that we had to do big farms like the U.S. do, but we're a small nation, so why not a collective of, say, 100 folks grow in their backyard and come to the farmers market and basically push from that perspective. And then, maybe then we can basically move forward on a bigger scale.
Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
And now it is time to ask the doctor.
I'm Dr. Monique Pratt. Welcome. Judith from Freeport sent this question. When women are having a heart attack, do they present differently from men? Thanks for your question. The most common symptoms are some type of pain, pressure, or discomfort in the chest. But the chest pain is not always severe in women. Women are more likely than men to have heart attack symptoms unrelated to chest pain, such as abdominal discomfort, shortness of breath, right arm pain instead of the typical left arm pain, lightheadedness, dizziness, or unusual fatigue. Researchers speculated that women tend to complain less about symptoms that may be related to their heart attack because they are somewhat afraid of being told by their doctor or family member that they are just anxious. So most women will often not tell their doctors about their symptoms that may be heart-related. Whether you're a male or female, it is extremely important to speak to a doctor about how you are feeling and describe your symptoms, because early detection of a heart attack is critical and is considered to be a medical emergency. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt, and this has been Ask the Doctor.
Stay with us, Ricardo Leibwana to check on sports when we return.